Hey, welcome to the show. I'm Yanni Rude.
And I'm just Terrell. You ever been out somewhere and overheard two people having crazy conversations?
Yeah, well, we are those people. We've been having these conversations since college.
Yep, it's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts podcast, 90 Day Fiance, Love in Paradise recap, episode 4. Season 3, episode 4. Be sure to like, subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Because I know you're all about the particulars, so my bad.
I just assumed you were just trying to remix it a little bit, go episode 4 of season 3.
Season 3, episode 4.
I don't want no scrub. I didn't know what you were about to do, man. I'm just like, okay.
There was no plan. That was just all ad-libbed. I was like, season 3, episode 4.
So here we are, man, with 3 episodes and now getting to episode 4. How you feeling about this? Are you ready to wipe the show down with some Vaseline?
Oh, goodness. No, but this show, it's just trash. It's bad. It's bad. You picked a bad one on this one because the storylines, like just everything about this is fake. Mm-hmm. And so this is going to be fun making fun of it, but am I excited? No. Every episode, I get more and more questions like, why in the hell would you?
Okay, to be fair, season 1 was great. Season 1 was good. I like season 1.
Was it though?
Yes, it was.
Was it? Was it though?
Would you like to go back and review that? No. Then you better take my word for it.
No, never backwards, only forwards.
That's what she said. But season 1 was way better than even better than season 2. To be quite honest, it was new, it was fresh, it was different. Yeah, season 3, it's definitely taking a slide, and you know, we're commitment phobes in this sense that when we commit to something, we're going to do it, and hopefully it gets better. But you're right. I mean, some of these storylines you can tell. There's one that's definitely made for TV that we're just like, this is a Lifetime movie. And those who've been there from the beginning of the journey of Lidia, you go like, yeah.
Yeah, she's a monster. I'm just watching the whole deal. Her whole family dynamic, all of them. I'm just like, this is all just for show and for TV. Just make your money, boo. Do what you got to do. I get it.
Had you ever seen them from the original 90 Day Fiance, and then when they did the Family Chantal and all these other things, you'd realize, yes, this family is all about, they are in the 90-day universe, and they're going to find a way to stay there. So it's pretty obvious. And even like someone pointed out last week, hey, Lidia was learning to speak Spanish in the last show she was on. So, I mean, speak English. I did this again. She's learned to speak English. So how all of a sudden she doesn't speak any English, you know? And it's, of course, plays into this storyline with Scott. So.
Yeah, it reminds me when I would travel to Mexico, all of a sudden you don't speak English. But I'm like, I know you know what I'm talking about.
Well, you know, let me explain to you what happens in that space, right? And you'll see this especially in Europe, because, and don't take this the wrong way, but Americans, y'all have a way of doing things, okay? And the problem is, you'll go to another country and say, speak to me in English, I'm American. But then somebody comes to America, you're like, well, speak English because you're in America. And that's the problem. If you go overseas and you're going to a place that speaks another language and you have that attitude, what happens is they're purposely going to act like they don't understand what you're saying. Meanwhile, they understand every single word. But if you actually try to speak, like when I was in France, and now granted, I was 12, and I tried my best to speak French, and they're like, okay, they'll help you along because they can speak English if they want to. They just choose not to if you choose to be an asshole about it. So, they would never speak to you. So,
I'm not an asshole when I travel.
Yes, you are.
I'm really nice. And when I was in Mexico, I normally would get dropped off one point of the border and would normally get an Uber. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, I got lost and got dropped off at a different part of the border. So I was like, there's these yellow cabs. I'll take a yellow cab. All of a sudden, the cab driver didn't know English and wanted to charge me $20 US for what was normally a $5 US Uber ride. But all of a sudden his language got all jacked up. He couldn't speak. I'm like, I know what you're doing.
No hablo inglés.
And I'm stuck because I'm in the taxi. I have no choice but to pay him the $20.
He said, no hablo inglés. Cartel?
Yeah, no hablo inglés, all that whole bit. And by the time I was pissed off, I'm like, just drop me off here. I grab my bags out the trunk. He's like, "Thank you, sir," and I'm like, "You mother."
Thank you, sir. You have a great day. I'll see you next
got
time.
me.
Okay?
You got me. You got me.
Yep. Yeah, he spotted you. All right, let's get to the episode of the show, man. Episode 4, No Scrubs. Valentine and Carlos. These two right here, this is the way to start the show off. These two laying in the bed, telling you that they did some things and wouldn't tell you what they did. Thank you. We appreciate it. But
Well, it sounds like nobody bottomed out. Nobody bottomed out that night. So
they met in the middle.
they did some things, but nobody bottomed out. So I'm just like, whatever. But it seems like they had a chance to reconnect. However, they do that.
Right.
And good for them.
Indeed. At least, okay, they had the trust issues, and we talked about this last week. The fact is, it's not about everything else and all the arguments they're having. The fact that they have absolutely no trust with each other, right? They don't trust each other. Neither one wants to do one thing because they don't want to have the other one bail out. So if that's the case, really no trust in this relationship. Well, at least we see a little more sensitive side of them and some compromise in there at some point. And then we find out about Valentine's background with his mom, because his mom is coming to the wedding, but she hasn't always been supportive.
And I thought that was really cool. The fact that she wasn't supportive of him when he came out, and that caused a bit of a gap in their relationship with each other.
Right.
She's obviously turned that around, accepted her son for who he is, and that's great. And is willing to come out to Colombia and meet Carlos because she hasn't met anybody before. So
right.
I totally respect that, how emotional that touched Valentine, that she's going to do that. So I thought that was a cool moment that they had.
Do you think that she agreed to come to the wedding if he cut his hair, cut that crap off his head that he had last season? Because that was horrible.
The reverse fade? No. She's a mom. She loves her son, regardless of how he does his hair. She's still going to love him. Mm-hmm. And the fact that she's going to come out and still support, whether she agrees or not, this is what her son wants to do. And this is what's going to make him happy. And the fact that she's going to be there, I think it's great, because we've all seen way too many stories how when people come out, it's not always easy, especially
right.
Your family, your parents are supposed to be the ones that you can say anything to. And when they bail on you, now you got to deal with the rest of the world. So yeah. I think this is great for them. Now, how it goes when she see them fight, does she have to jump in like, what did you say to my son? Where's my Vaseline? It's time to fight.
Hey, he got a black mama. She's going to have some.
Apparently, that's what everybody has. Those that still have black cards, they have Vaseline automatically. I don't, but...
You seem a little bit in your feelings. So.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, okay.
I love my native. I feel I'm moist.
That is something I could have done without hearing. Scott and Lidia, these two right here, man. Oh my goodness! And just like Jocelyn said, I almost didn't watch because of Lidia. Couldn't stand Family Chantal too. Yes, I mean that. It's Chantal's family. So I mean the whole thing, the Family Chantal, the whole series, both sides of the family, they were horrible. And after a while, the storyline became so much the same. And this is kind of why I'm kind of just like, man, this is what we're gonna have to deal with these two. But he gets to meet Nicole, right? And it's the next day. They get to meet Nicole. No channel says, I don't think anyone has ever liked Nicole. Yeah, probably not even her boyfriend in the last one they had going 90 Day Fiance the other way. But Nicole gets to meet Scott so she can get to know him. How'd you think this was going to go?
It's a Scott, not Scott.
My bad.
A Scott. A Scott.
Okay, a Scott. Okay, my bad.
I was talking about, so a Yanni. So Lidia starts out talking about how she didn't anticipate the language problem was bigger than what she expected. I'm like, that's just total BS.
Right.
You can't tell me you didn't expect that was going to be an issue. But watching Lidia and Nicole, they're so annoying. I can't imagine watching this family Chantal, but even Nicole's voice is annoying. The way they interact with each other, it's just so annoying. Like, it's way unnecessarily over the top. Mm-hmm. That I just don't see why a Scot would want to be a part of any of that. You can't tell me that on your first Zoom call or WhatsApp call, you weren't like, red flag here.
But the red flag for him was when the questions became very invasive, and that turned quickly. Like, that escalated quickly. And Nicole got to the point where Scott started to feel uncomfortable, he said. I mean, she's asking about sex partners and all this.
Yeah, because, when we learned that Scott has 3 kids, and so I agree with him. Like, those are questions you don't ask. And I get that Nicole wants to make sure her mom is okay. But those are questions you just don't really ask. But
those weren't really coming from her, you know that.
I know that. But regardless, why are you asking how many women has he slept with? And then what guy would ever answer that truthfully? Why are you quiet?
I didn't think that was a question for me. I'm a married man. Juan.
No, I'm just saying for people in the comments. Why would you ask somebody, how many people have you slept with? Why is that important? But who would answer it? You know, so I applaud Scott for saying, hey, more than 10.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to know. You don't need to know all the details.
The question wasn't for her. It was because even Lidia was like, who do you think helped her with those questions? You know, so you know where the questions came from.
It doesn't matter who it came from. Mm-hmm. I get Lydia's only been with one person, apparently. But it doesn't matter who else Scott has slept with. I always got to say a Scott. Doesn't matter how many people a Scott has slept with. Why would you ask somebody that a question? And regardless of language barrier, that is not appropriate in any culture. So it's not a language thing or a culture thing. That's just inappropriate.
It is inappropriate. Trisha answered, I can't let this go without howdy, Yanni and Terrell.
Hey, Trisha.
Tamika's with you. She says, Nicole has been consistently annoying across all franchises. And Jocelyn says, I would never ask and I would never answer. And, you know, when it comes down to this part of even getting to know somebody in a relationship, right? The one thing I've always said, never ask a question you're not prepared to answer. And too many people like to ask questions, and if you throw the question back, they don't want to answer it, right? And so in that space, I'd never ask because I never want to answer it. If that's the case, so be it. But if you ask a question, know that you should be prepared to answer it, right?
So what you're saying is a Scot should have been like, hey, Nicole, same question for you. How many people have you slept with?
She's like, you're not dating me. I know, but you asked the question. And then ask your mama, too.
¿Cuántos hombres?
Oisha.
Yeah. I'm just like, why?
¿Cuántos hombres ay? That sounds like... Now, see, that would be entertaining, goddammit. He needs to learn.
Yeah, no, I thought that was a bit much. And even if Lidia wanted to know the answers to those questions, she should have shut that stuff down too. But this is Lidia.
How's she going to ask the question if Nicole doesn't ask it? You know, No Challenge has a great question. Do you guys think a Scot genuinely wants a relationship with Lidia?
No.
Of course.
Why would he? I mean, I'm sure Lidia could be a really nice. Lidia could be a really nice lady. I'm not hating on Lidia. I don't know this woman. But if you look at a Scot and his options, why would he want that?
Hey, when Lidia dressed up, Lidia had body on her now. She had a little shape on her.
No. She has a body because we all do. But it's not a body that someone like in a Scot would want. Scott was, apparently, dating 29-year-olds in Colombia. So he likes these women of mystery for some reason. But you can't tell me that he is just all in for the love and she's his everything. I just can't. I can't buy it.
Now, the fact that Scott got a little more upset later, as if he couldn't get any more upset. He got a little bit more upset by the interrogation and surprised that Lidia shared all the personal conversations with Nicole. Like, have you never watched any of the shows that she was on? Of course she shared that information. And part of the information is about this Colombian woman you talked about, this 29-year-old who is obviously the same age as Nicole, right? So maybe he should be trying to date Nicole instead. But he gave her $17,000, right? Well, how much money did you give my mom? You haven't given her $1. You gave this woman $17,000. That was enough for him to say, you know what? That's a great question. Pack my shit up. Deuces.
I'm going back to Florida. Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, Nicole has a valid point. What was it about this young girl that you gave $17,000 to, and you haven't given my mom $1?
You know exactly.
So do you like younger women? Yeah, she was younger and hotter than your mom.
Yeah.
The value on that is totally different. It's like a very luxury vehicle. You get a luxury vehicle, you make sure you put premium gas in it. You take care of it. You get a 1980s,
Stop it. That's a 1960 model. Stop it.
Chevy Nova. it's like that already has some miles on it. Why would you invest? It doesn't matter. But so she was wrong in asking him that, but yet I totally get why she asked it. So then what does he do? He's like, no, I have a gift for your mom. I got her a purse. My mom told me, which is just more funny. My mom told me that I should come bearing gifts. And he gives her a purse. And I'm laughing because my first question when he handed when she pulled the purse out the bag, I'm like, is there any money in it? Because I was also taught when I was younger, like you don't get somebody
too.
No, I was just taught you don't get somebody a wallet and don't start them off. Even when I was a kid, if family got me a wallet, there was at least a $5 bill in it just to start you off. You don't hand somebody an empty wallet with no money in it because it's bad luck. And so when she said that, I just fell laughing. So I'm like, okay, I'm kind of guilty of that too.
JD has a question for you. Terrell, did you really just compare women to cars?
I compared Lidia to a beat up car that people would want to put premium gasoline in. That's what I said. Women are not cars. Lidia.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is what you call a double down.
Cheers.
Maybe you thought he was about to backpedal. That was not about to happen. I'm just
No.
going to let you know right now. There's no backpedaling.
No.
Here.
I said what I said. There's no apology to her here. I said what I said.
Yeah. Would he have been wrong had he said, well, if it was you, I'd have given you at least $10,000.
You look like you about 1,000. I could probably drop 1,000 on you. But you're not like that 29-year-old in Colombia. She was worth $17,000. Never met her. But I didn't mind giving her $17,000. But you, I'd give you a G.
Oh, my God. Just so you thought the crazy couldn't get any crazier, we run into April and Valentine now. You got to make sure that E makes a big difference in the pronunciation of these names, apparently.
It does. God, Valentine's a lucky man. April is stunning, gorgeous. She has her quirks. Don't get me wrong. We're going to talk about that. But just from a look standpoint, I'm just like, I get it. And so when Valentine was like, of course I love her, and I'm like, yeah, of course she's your world. She has money. And she's giving it to you.
She's smart.
And she's attractive.
She has money.
She's smart. She has all these things. Of course she's your world. She has all these things you have no chance of getting on your own. Yes, you worship the ground she walks on, and you rightfully should. But at least, this is one thing, the note I made. At least April is learning Spanish, and I feel like she is smart and driven, that she could pick it up quickly. Mm-hmm. compared to your Scots of the world. But I think
Okay.
I think April can pick up Spanish quickly because she's smart and driven. This is what she wants. She has her mindset. I want this
Yeah.
dude. I got to learn the language. I'm gonna go all in, and I was proud of that. I was like, good for you, April.
I do like the fact that when she first, because she said I'm gonna try and meet him halfway. He's learning English, I'm learning Spanish, and as soon as she landed, after brushing her hair out and leaving it all over first class, this germaphobe leaves her hair all over first class. I'm like, all right now, the person behind you has to go and do all that. But at least she started speaking, some Spanish with him, at least before pulling out the phone and using the translator. But it's one of those things where she started out with it. So you're right. I give a kudos on that. A little golf clap on that.
But I will say that when she said that he's taking Spanish classes, my first thought was, I wonder who's paying for those.
Well,
He's taking English classes.
Yeah, English
classes. I'm like, I wonder who's paying for the English classes. I bet it's April.
Of course it is.
So is she really meeting him halfway? If she's paying for her own Spanish classes
Well, he
and
still
probably
has to learn
paying
it.
for his English classes,
He still has to learn it.
she's still losing.
She's not losing if they can increase their communication. She's not losing. Look, if you want something, will you not invest in it?
She's investing a lot.
Okay, but that's what she wants.
I mean, okay.
According to JD, what April wants is a 12-year-old because she thinks Valentine looks like a 12-year-old.
So April is Elon Musk and Valentine is Twitter because she's investing a lot in him to make sure this works out. So maybe it'll pay off. But damn, does April doesn't know how to travel light, does she? Do you see that luggage?
But okay, didn't she say she was going with one bag and then she ended up packing 3? So we knew that in advance, right? She's not like Jordan, who could pack everything in her purse in her purse because she doesn't carry drawers or anything. This is April, who's coming with everything, including disinfectant. She's bringing the entire disinfectant aisle from the grocery store, right? So she's in Texas, so she went to H-E-B or Albertsons, and she just cleared the shelf and brought it with her. So, of course, she's not going to travel light.
I would have thought at least she'd have brought a bottle of Fabuloso. I mean, if you're going to connect with the Latin community, I use Fabuloso. It's my favorite product. I don't do pine salt. Fabuloso is the shit. So why not bring Fabuloso to... Is that wrong? Should I have not said that? Is that bad?
It's not bad. It's just... Look, I'm just saying, why would she have to do that?
Well, her germophobia is on a whole new level, and I think she needs to get some help. But what I didn't like about her is they get to the airport, they meet and all that stuff and kissies. Then they get in the car, and she's looking around at Santo Domingo, and she makes the comment that this needs a facelift because it's not what she expected. And I just felt like you don't disrespect where someone grew up.
Right.
Like, this is his home. Everything about this place, the good, the bad, the ugly, how bad it looks, and it's probably better than it was when he was a kid. But this is how he grew up. I felt like that was so disrespectful.
I'm going to just put this comment up here from JD from earlier, from our initial conversation. American privilege bias. That's it. And that's what April has. Because she's like, well, Dominican Republic to me is what I see at the resort. Well, this is the rest of the country. It's not the same thing everywhere.
Very true. Very true. Hold on. I got to show this one. Joslo, treat yourself. Go to whatever local grocery store you have.
Look on the bottom shelf.
H-E-B, Publix, Wegmans, whatever part of the country that you're in, there's grocery stores. Get you some Fabuloso. That purple liquid is amazing. Just try it.
It looks like grape soda.
Maybe Fabuloso should be a sponsor because I already hooked up Native. Instead of petroleum jelly, I'm selling Native. Now I'm selling Fabuloso instead of pine salt. So maybe we got to get some sponsors. So they get to the room, and I thought that the hotel room was actually nice because you can have towns like that in the DR, and some of the hotels on the outside it might not look what you're used to, but you get in, it's beautiful.
But it's a historic building, and we saw it and went, okay, this is classic. It's what it is. Not like her, like, ew.
Oh yeah, because she's just bougie as shit. And don't get me wrong, I can relate. I'm not
I
that
want to
level.
say, what?
I'm not that level, but I understand. But I'm nowhere near on that level. I can stay in the slum and still be nice and not have to like try to sanitize everything in front of someone's face. But so they get to the hotel, and she's like having him totally disinfect everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't care what hotel you've ever been in. You can spray and disinfect all you want. There's still germs and nastiness in there. Did she wipe down the phone? Did she wipe down the remote? What about everything. The countertop in the bathroom? Because, people use that. So there's all this stuff in there. I'm like, you cannot sanitize that much.
Well, my thing is, we're taking the sheets off. Do you not think those love juices that you talk about so much didn't soak into the bed that you're still going to sleep on in the first place? If you start, and here's the problem. If you go down that path, mentally, that's what, like you said, it started for her in her 20s, and then it just progressively got worse, because the minute you allow yourself to go down that road, that path, it's going to happen. It's just going to get worse. So this is over a decade of her going through this, right? Almost a decade and a half of her going through this. And here's the thing. I thought it was his first chance to see how much of a germaphobe she is, but no. He realizes that this has been, the producer even asked, hey, is this something you've seen before? Is she always like this? Oh, yeah, she's always like this. But I can deal with her quirkiness. I bet you can.
Of course, because she's paying bills. So he has that slave mentality. What's that, boss? We sick? Is our bed dirty? I got this. So, of course.
Speaking of dirty beds, though, she asked him, one, about taking his outside clothes off before getting in the bed. Like, are you going to sleep in that? Because she came out of her nightie. That's the only way I could describe that. That was a nightie. That wasn't even lingerie. That was just a nightie. And then I haven't used that word in a long time. And then he strips down to his boxers. But CD on White says the germaphobe didn't make him take a shower before getting in bed. She asked him about it. He said, yeah, he did, even though he couldn't understand what she was saying. But did she, though? She just got off a flight. Did she take a shower?
Honestly, I think she took a shower. I think he didn't take a shower while the camera was on. Mm-hmm. But before they went to bed, I'm sure she was like, yeah. No, which to me defeats the purpose because he was already under the covers. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking that she made him take a shower, but just the way the editing goes, if you're that much of a germaphobe, you're just going to take his word for it that he took a shower. You picked me up in this. It's already hot out here. It's the DR. A little sweaty. Mm-hmm. You're still, you got too much natural juices on you right now to get in this bed. So I'm sure she probably made him take a shower. Editing probably changed that up. But yeah, I think he did. If she's a germaphobe the way she is, I can't imagine that she just trusted that he's clean. Mm-hmm. But yet she disinfected and sanitized everything else in the house or in the hotel room.
So, do you think that she brings out the Lysol disinfectant spray when he's about to get naked and like, no, hold up.
Lift your leg. Lift your leg. Hold on. Before we do this, I need you to wrench it off. Get here by the sink. Wrench it off.
Cup it. Cough.
What is this? What is this?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Hey, by the way, just so you know, I did see this and I wanted to point this out. Jocelyn gives us a Canadian flag. They may not have Fabuloso in Canada, okay?
Oh, she's in Canada. I thought that was California. I was like, wait. Because I'm an American and we're assholes and we're selfish. And we just think it's all about us. When I saw she put CA, I was like, oh, well, she's in California. So there's Wegmans, there's Whole Foods. Whole Foods doesn't sell Fabuloso. I know because I worked there for 5 years.
Did you not even see the flag? I mean,
I didn't see the flag. I just saw CA and that was it. There's a flag in there?
Yes. Oh, you can't see it. Okay.
No, I can't see it. I just see CA. So I just thought.
You need to get a MacBook, man.
California.
Throw that HP away.
You mean there's more to the world than what's in the U.S.? I just thought this was it.
Oh, my God. Hilarious, man. Look, our final couple for today, Juan and Jessica. and they're ready-made to go family. I'll be honest with you. They started off the episode with them, and I did not want to start off the episode hearing Jessica spitting in the toilet. I'm sorry.
Okay, I felt the same way, but then I thought to myself, Terrell, you've not had children.
Right.
You've not been with someone who was pregnant.
Right.
You don't know what it's like for them to be going through that. So I was trying to go down the sympathy route, and then I took another sip of my whiskey, and I'm like, I'm sorry, that's effing gross. I don't need to hear all that. I'm sorry.
Let me help you
I don't
out.
need to hear that. I think if I wasn't married, I'd turn the volume up on the TV. Babe, you puking? Turn the volume up. Watching the game. But that part was gross. I'm like, we didn't really get to see all that.
Let me just point this out. Because you can't, the fact that you're not married or haven't had kids, that will be your wife, your woman that would be spitting in the toilet. You don't want to hear another woman doing that. So it doesn't matter. You still feel the exact same way.
Babe, can you go downstairs to the downstairs bathroom? Because that's
You'll be fine
really
with
upsetting.
Kevin,
You're upsetting. You're giving me sympathy pains.
Okay. So basically, you're saying that you'd have to have your wife is gonna have to have a separate bathroom on the other side of the house, huh?
I can't. Okay, so I can watch open heart surgery. I can watch birth and watch the baby come out. I can't do throw up. And so if you're gonna throw up, like I don't hold hair, I don't do any of that. I can't help you. I can't be in the same room. I can't hear it because it's gross. Anything else, I can deal with. Your arm falls off. You need to be able to hold a towel or a rag on to soak up the blood. Won't faze me a bit. But as soon as I see throw up, or if I hear someone throwing up, gross. I can't do it. I can't.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my weird thing. I just can't deal with throw up. Anything else I can deal with. I can't deal with changing baby diapers. I've done it. Mm-hmm. And doesn't bother me a bit. What's in there? Yeah, man. They do their thing. But if a baby spits up and throws up, I can't.
Okay. Really? You don't know love. And just, okay, people talk about, and I know we're getting a little off track here, but just to your point of throwing up, right? You don't understand love until you're holding your baby girl above
Let
your
me
head.
stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. That's disgusting. And no.
She threw up and it fell in my mouth and I didn't drop the baby. I mean,
yeah. No. Because if that ever happened, if there was a Terrell Jr., knock on plywood, if there ever was a Terrell Jr., and that little Negro spit up in my mouth, I'm not going to drop him, but I'm not going to forget because I'm a Scorpio. And I'm going to remember at some point when he's about 15, 16, he's going to want something to be like, remember that time? You spit
like,
up on
no,
No, you don't.
Baby.
No, you don't, do you? Here's a picture of it. Yeah, you figure it out.
Oh my God. You are
I can't do throw up. I just can't do throw up. Anything else, I am with you. I got you. Whatever you're dealing with, I can be there for you. But you throw up, I can't.
Okay. I'm not mad at you for that on your quirks, right? Because I told my wife this from the very beginning. Because my wife is like, well, you'll change the diaper. I'm like, I don't care about changing the diaper. I mean, look, I can be cleaning my daughter. She poop in my hand. I'll be fine. I don't care about that. Now, when she starts eating food and it gets soggy and she drops the food, I'm not picking that up. She was like, what? I'm like, that's my thing. I'll change all the diapers in the world. But when she starts making a mess with the food, you got to clean that up. So I get it. I totally get it.
I get it too. And I'm looking at the comments. I'm just like, y'all don't know me well.
Yeah, because JD says, Terrell, I hope your future wife never pukes on you.
I hope she doesn't either, because that's going to be a problem.
Jocelyn says, as a retired nurse, vomit was my weird thing too. So, see, you're not alone in this.
Yes.
Vicky DP says, Terrell, babies throw up a lot.
Which is why I don't hold them. I don't
What
have to worry about it.
If Terrell Jr. sprays you while you're changing him, that's not a problem.
Is he spraying me with vomit? Or shit? There's a difference. Vomit, I can't do. Shit, kids do that. I get it. But
I think that meant pee, but I mean, shit sounds even worse. So I mean,
or pee. I know that happened. So they can't control it. We were all there. Hey, we're adults. Sometimes I can't control it either. I'm just like, hey, whatever. There it goes. But throw up, I can't. That's my one thing. I just can't do throw up. And like, especially with kids, it's the worst because it's all these weird colors and whatever you feed them. Quick story. I know we're off track, but quick story. I'm at home. I go down to San Antonio. It's Father's Day weekend, and my brother, we were going to cook steaks for my dad, and we had, cousin came over, and he had his wife and kids, and he had a newborn. And so we made some really delicious steaks because, I'm bougie, so they were really good steaks. And so we all eat, and my cousin's wife was sitting on the couch with the baby. And my mom was like, hey, why don't you come in here and eat? I'll hold the baby. Nice. So mom is sitting there holding the baby. All of a sudden, the baby kind of has this look on his face and does this like exorcist without the head spin and just projectile vomit. And I just froze. I was just like, are you shitting me? And it wasn't so much like at the table, really. How disrespectful. It was the most disgusting thing I'd ever seen. I'm just like, see, this is why I don't like holding babies. Because you have a small window of when that stuff's going to come out. And if it gets on you, I can't. I just
Did you not finish your steak?
I'd already ate. So luckily, I was already done. But had I not had any of that got on me, no, I just can't. Sorry.
Hey, just wipe it off with Vaseline. You'd have been fine.
Not enough Vaseline in the world. I have to chug a gallon of Fabuloso, rinse my mouth out.
Oh, my God. Well, back to Jessica and Juan here. My bad. Jessica and Juan shot Juan. Because the minute they decided we're engaged, he was like, let's try for a baby, and here we go. Or, like No Channel said, Juan pushed the fast forward button on life.
Let me tell you how dumb Juan is. Juan said that, they got engaged and figured, let's try. And he said, I got it in one shot, so it was meant to be. I'm like, do you know how babies work? Because it's not about the meant to be. And I get it. You got some people who might argue that, but you did the things it takes to make a baby. Mm-hmm. If I mix flour, sugar, batter, and all that, and muffins come out first time, it wasn't meant to be that muffins came out. I did the things and put in the recipe to make muffins.
Yeah.
He put in the recipe to make a baby. So don't try to tell me it's meant to be.
Well, everything happens for a reason. The reason is because you went up in... you should know the reason. You should know the reason. Here's my question I have, though, because, the one thing that Jessica brought up was the fact that Juan was not going to be there for the birth of the baby because the K-1 visa process, it takes so long. Why did y'all try to get pregnant before even starting the process, or even after you started the process, knowing, well, you couldn't have started the process. You still got to get married first. The fact is, it's going to take a long time. Why not wait? First of all, that's selfish on her part. Mm-hmm. And this is where I get in this part. And I think this is her lockdown mechanism with him. But it's his first child. Mm-hmm. How are you going to not let him be there for it? Y'all could have waited.
Yanni, I don't think you really understand how love works. Because...
apparently.
They love each other.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, they love each other, and that's all it needs, and that's all it takes is love. Mm-hmm. So, I think she makes bad decisions, and apparently Juan does too. Now, I will give Juan credit. It seems like he really loves her. Mm-hmm. By the way he looks at her and was taking care of when she was sick. Right. It seems like he really loves her. But this is all piss poor planning on their part. And again, let's just say they have the baby and everything, and she wants him to move back to the sticks, Wyoming. Mm-hmm. He can't work. So who's going to take care of this baby and those other two little badass boys that she got?
That's why they could have waited a year or two before getting pregnant. And here's the thing about this. He's about to go on a cruise for 6 months. She's 2 months pregnant. So through the duration of her pregnancy, with 1 month left, but that can be 2 weeks or 4 weeks after that, right? He's going to be gone. Not like he could be there with her in the States anyway. But, you know, the planning is, like you said, the planning is bad here, man. Totally bad.
Okay, the whole thing is bad because let's just talk back a little bit before consummation happened.
Right.
Of this baby. So
And
she
how
gets this
consummation
message.
happened.
I don't need to know how. I have a good idea. But a few months ago, she gets this message from this woman that's pretty much saying, oh, you think Juan is faithful? He's been sleeping with me and all that. So she's upset about that. Megan, her friend, confronts Juan. Of course, she's going off, you know, because she pulled a Karen on him, I'm sure.
Of course.
And then Jessica goes on the cruise to go see Juan again.
And that's how babies are made.
And he
Make
says, you got to understand, because she went mad. She was coming in hot, right? She went mad, but his answer to what happened was, no, I just let her on because I'm trying to make money. I didn't sleep with her. And then he gave her what she could relate to. He came up with his own version of WWTs. And she's just like, oh, you know what? Maybe he really does like
Colombian male tears?
Yeah. And so then she gets pregnant. And now she's like, well, here we are. We're both pregnant. We got to figure this out. Which I agree. She's kind of stuck now. I mean, you can easily try to say he cheated, he didn't cheat, and try to figure that out. But it doesn't matter. You have a baby coming. And your option is totally reject Juan and try to raise a Colombian baby by yourself, or try to make it work. And I think that's the angle that she went with.
Was that the conversation? Because think about this. Now let's piece this back together, okay? As we sit here, argument happens. She goes on the cruise. They have it out face to face. He tells her what he needs to, drops them CMTs, the Colombian man tears, and then, you know, she drops her drawers and they get it on. But remember, he said, we made the decision to try and have a baby. And the first time I did it. So was that the compromise to get back on the good side? Was then we should have a baby?
Well, you lock her in. You know, maybe that was his motive. I don't know, but it'd be one thing if she's never had kids before. She has 2. So she knows what it takes to make a baby. So you can't just call this as an oops. And you're making a baby with somebody who lives in a whole country away from you, that works on a cruise ship. Like, all the odds are against you. At some point, she has to own some of this dumbness.
Do you think he would have had a different take on this if he had to be around Dawson and the other one? I don't remember the other guy's name. We know Dawson because Dawson's the brat. If he had to spend a week with them before, he'd have been like, you know, maybe it's not time
yet. Pull out?
Yes. Maybe it's not time yet.
Yeah, he would just stay at 20 strokes and stop. He would never go 21.
Yeah, he wouldn't go to
like
21
Sean.
that Sean does.
Well, so here's the deal. He's been around the kids before. That wasn't his first time meeting the kids. So,
but he didn't have to be around them. They were barely there. He was working.
But he had a chance to meet them and see them, and so you realize, like, this
kids
is
are
what
cute
could
when
happen.
you can give them back.
Those 2 boys aren't. I mean, they're cute. Look standpoint, sure, good-looking kids, but personality-wise, there's some humdingers. But he could have easily not tried to get some. And you got to think, okay, you live in Colombia. If you try to have a baby with this person, you're going to have to move to the sticks, Wyoming, where you can't work. How are you going to take care of children? He knew what it was when he didn't pull out.
He had no idea that Wyoming smelled like shit because they didn't tell him that. Torrington, Wyoming, they're like, it smells like shit and there's nothing there.
I'm sure that was not the first time of him hearing about that. That's TV and editing. She didn't make it sound like it was like Miami.
You didn't grow up outside the States. He's watched it on TV. He thought it was the beaches in New York City. That's what he thought America was, not what we've seen of Torrington, Wyoming.
So you're saying that he had no idea what Wyoming was like. She never mentioned anything about it. She made it sound like it was the Mecca. It's like LA. It's like New York. Just like all those things you've seen on TV. She made it seem like it was great until she got knocked up. And then she was like, hey, so when you come back to my place, it's 5,000 cattle. and that's it. I don't buy it. I think that they've had enough conversations that he knew what it was going to be like to live there.
Do you really think they had that much conversation when she went down there to have an upset and came back with a baby? Dude, come on, stop it.
How many times does that happen when people get in fights, break up sex, oops, I'm pregnant, we get back together? That's a movie we've seen too many times before.
Right.
It's not rare. Hasn't happened to you and I, but or you and me, whatever it is. I'm thinking.
You or I, because
There
you
you
and
go.
I sound
Whatever it is.
crazy as hell.
I know you're gonna correct me, but
I'm just saying.
Cheers.
Hey, that sounds crazy as hell. Well, look, 4 episodes in, we still got a bunch more to go. How you feeling about this so far now? Because we're gonna find there's another couple we have yet to meet.
apparently
Matthew and Anna. And we'll get to meet them, I think, next week. It's going to be interesting to see how that looks. Now, of course, next week we won't be back on Monday. We're going to do it on Tuesday because I'll be traveling next week, So, and of course, this week, now, Married at First Sight, you're traveling, so we're not going to do Married at First Sight on Wednesday. We're going to do it Friday evening, right? Mm-hmm. At 8, 7 Central? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That
Correct.
time still work for you? Okay, good.
Yeah, that works for me because I get back in town from Phoenix Thursday night late, so we'll do Friday night. Perfect.
And see, JD was right. Juan was like, Wyoming smells like what? Exactly. That's what he was shocked. They did not make it sound appealing.
No. Let's stop trying to make these people from other countries like they're not smart. They have Wi-Fi. They have Google. I'm sure this is just for the production and for the TV. You what? Cattle in this small town? We've been talking for almost a year. I had no idea. That's all BS.
Let's not act like Wi-Fi and Google is the be-all and end-all. I remember when I came to the States and somebody's like, well, what are you? You can't be black because you're not from America. I was like, you know what?
Okay, but
have another conversation.
when did you come from the States? When did you come to the States? How long ago was that?
There were stagecoaches.
How long ago was that? And then
Last
where are we
week.
at today? So just stop it.
Well, what? Oh, do you try?
Just,
now you want to make it good for your people?
I'm not trying to make it good for anybody, but you're trying to bring up these stories of when I was a kid, we drank from the water hose outside. Now there's bottled water. The world has changed. Stop it.
Oh my God. Yeah. Jocelyn asked, do they ever show Everton? I think that's going to be next week because next week, Everton, first of all, the previews for next week, right? When they show Jordan actually telling Everton, hey, and playing him the message. Now, that's the kicker. Everton, let me tell you something, boy. You need to understand a poker face. The appropriate response is not, fuck. That implies guilt.
I think Everton will be fine. If he got this woman to give him power of attorney on the property, I think he can spit enough game to get himself out of this situation.
Yeah. Well, we'll see that next week. We'll see them next week, Jordan and Everton. We'll get, because they're in Jamaica, getting to meet his family. Then we're also going to finally meet Matthew and Anna. I'm anxious to see what it is Matthew's hiding from Anna because we know nothing about them. So
We don't, but I need to know, are they going to add any more couples? Is it going to be down to 6?
yeah, 6 couples is what it is. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I was about to say.
Yeah. So 6 couples. It's a lot of couples, especially considering this is a 1-hour show, but at least it gives you some variety week to week. And the storylines are pretty short. So I think that's why, too.
I can see that. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, I'm Yanni Rude.
And I'm just Terrell.
Hey, make sure you follow us at Yanni Rude, at Just Terrell, and at RGRT Pod.
Yeah, send us some of your random thoughts or some of the bullshit from the internet. We'll talk about it on our regular show.
It's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts Podcast. Cheers.
Cheers with my empty glass.